Hello there everybody, how's it going and how have you been? Welcome back to SpaceChem. Once again, before we get into the levels, a couple of quick things. First off, you will probably, well you might notice, I honestly don't know how the first 3 videos appeared on YouTube. But whenever I reviewed them, it always looked like there were 2 big black areas on either side, which was a result of me recording it in a window on my weird resolution monitor. So for this recording, I decided to experiment with full screen. So if the video is now stretched to fill up your entire little video player, that's why it's recording in full screen now instead of a window. Also, I have fiddled with the audio settings a bit. I did a couple of tests just to make sure that the settings were still good, and the game kept sounding really quiet. I don't know if it was just me hearing the quieter parts of the song, or if I accidentally tweaked the setting when I started recording Invisible Ink. I have no idea what was going on, but it was really quiet, so I turned the game up both in its settings and in OBS, which I'm using to record. So if it's a bit louder in this video than compared to the other 3, that's probably why. It's because I fiddled with the audio settings. So, with those 2 quick changes out of the way, this is just a series of experimentations, which kind of fits considering I'm basically doing chemistry. Big fancy chemistry experiments, in a weird way. Anyway, in the last episode, we left off having finished these first 3 levels of Danopth. All these are research levels, they are all just inside of one reactor, and we are finally going into our first really big production levels. Or, I shouldn't say really big because they're the first ones, but our first non-tutorial production levels. Oh, we actually have another training page. This is cool. So one thing that the game did not mention in the tutorials is that when you design a reactor, that is the track that the 2 Waldos inside of the reactor follow, you can save reactors by choosing the Save to Toolbox command when you right-click on one of them. And what this will do is it will let you reuse that reactor with the exact same setup for the Waldos in other levels that allow that reactor type. We will see that there is much more than just the basic 4-bonder reactor. But this is just kind of a tool to help with the reusability side of the puzzle aspect to this game, in a very weird way to describe it. I mentioned that one thing that is a good idea to try and get into the habit of doing in this game is reusing your old designs and just tweaking it. Basically all that this does is give you a shortcut to recover both the reactor type and its pattern so that you don't have to try and build it all from memory again and then try to tweak it. You can just immediately copy paste it into the next level, basically. And while I was talking, I also noticed that we have a new page of story. Once again, I'm not going to read it. I've been doing a little fiddling off camera, and I can't really do voices. And most of the time whenever I try to narrate, I kinda trip over some words. It's something that would probably improve with practice and time, but for the moment I'm just gonna keep leaving it on screen. Anybody who's interested can go ahead and pause and read it. Anybody that's not, we'll be getting into the level right now. So, we have an oceanic pump that is basically pumping methane out of this big pool, and we can see down here in this little lore text. I would try to mouse over it, but it moves with, but it vanishes once the cursor goes away. The oceans of Danopth are actually numerous lake-sized pools of liquid methane. And quick fact for anybody who is interested in astronomy, I believe it's Titan is actually kind of like that. It has big oceans and lakes of a gooey liquid methane. At least I'm pretty sure it's methane. I know it's a hydrocarbon at the very least. But yeah, it's so... the conditions there are just right for methane, which is normally a gas on Earth, to have cooled and condensed into this thick, sloggy methane sludge. And with that wonderful image, let's get right into building. But you'll see, our reactors kind of look a little weird. On Danopth, part of the lore is that the machinery keeps breaking down, so they keep having to patch it back together. So for the production levels here, we aren't actually given full-on, fully functioning reactors. Instead, we have assembly reactors and disassembly reactors, which are basically reactors that have been broken down and refurbished so many times that they can only either create bonds or remove bonds. They can't do both at once. It's an either-or situation. So we have that additional curveball thrown in at us. And with that taken into account, we have to take the methane that comes out of the pump and produce hydrogen gas and ethane gas. And it's dawning on me that I meant to read up on what those hazard diamonds stand for, and I have completely forgotten. So, I don't know if I can do an overlay that describes it. That might take up too much of the screen, so if I can't, I promise next time I will make sure to read up on hazard diamonds and explain what they do, or what they signify. But if I can, you'll see some very pretty overlays right about now that describe what they do. So first off, we have to break the methane apart, which means we have to use our disassembly only reactor. And because the assembly reactors only have one output, we basically need one for each of the final results. Now, whoops, darn pipes, come here. This level isn't too particularly difficult. I shouldn't say easily remember, but the solution I have in mind is probably what I've done every time I've actually played it, or the first time I played through the story, not every time. But, basically, that's not, there we go, that's how we create a note from inside the reactor. We right-click instead of left-click. I want hydrogen going out of here, and out of this guy, I want this weird CH3, which the game doesn't actually recognize as any proper molecule. And I don't think it actually is any kind of molecule. There probably is a name for it, but I just don't know it off the top of my head. So, what we just have to do is really nice and simple. That's not how bonders work. There we go. As usual, we call the molecule in, bring it down and around. We don't have to use these two other bonders. Instead, what we do is just sever one of the hydrogens and do I want to deliver... Do I want to flip the CH3 to actually look like this note? Actually no, let's tweak this note really quick. Just so that it will look like how the Waldo delivers it. And then, again, misplacing arrows just like I always do in this game. And then red just sends it out. Now, we're here, blue. I'm actually going to need a sync command to get blue to wait patiently for red to leave the hydrogen behind. Then what blue can do is he can just come up right along, put the hydrogen down right on the square, True, I could leave the hydrogen down in this corner. I mean, there's nothing wrong with leaving it down in this corner, but just out of habit, I've become accustomed to leaving things in this kind of top left corner area. If you are playing along on your own, you are welcome to drop the hydrogen atom in whatever square of this output zone you want, if you're mimicking my solution. And this first reactor should actually work just the way I intended, but it never hurts to double check and make sure. So it calls the methane in, moves it along, use the hydrogen, which blue grabs, CH3 is sent out, H is sent out, and if I pull my head out of the reactor, I can see, yep, the CH3 is flowing. They are both going to the right reactors. Good. Wanted to make sure on that. So, this guy is really, really simple. I basically just have red call in the hydrogen that comes out of the other reactor, grab onto it and bring it down and around. Now, I believe I did a technique like this in the tutorial. It was either... actually, no, yeah, I think I did. I think I used it to make... what was it, nitrogen gas? It's been quite a while since I've recorded the tutorials, in case you guys don't want to read publishing dates. That was a while ago, and I'm sorry for the big drought of videos since then, for whoever may have been watching back then. Anyway, like I'm pretty sure I did in that tutorial level, I will have red try to bond. That is not the right command. Have him put down the atom, and then try to grab here. And what this will do is, first time around, hydrogen can't bond with anything because nothing is there, so we'll get left behind. Nothing for red to grab. Second time around, the hydrogen can bond with the first hydrogen. It will get pushed forward a square, and then set down, and then red will grab the end, which is there now because the whole molecule moved. And then what he can do is just put it down, and in the interest of letting blue do something, you can do this. And basically what will happen if a Waldo is just constantly running into the edge of the screen is it will just trigger the command on that tile over and over and over again forever, basically. Don't have to build even the tiniest of loop if you don't want to. And again, just troubleshooting to make sure it works. Let's actually click that up to 2 just so that the hydrogen atoms get here faster. There's the first one. See, can't bond to anything, so it's just put down. And pause just a little bit too slow there. But if you're sharp enough eyed, you'd see they bond, they get pushed forward, it get put down. Red would grab the other end, drag it all the way on into the output zone, and then loop back around. And so we're making hydrogen gas now. Now, I would like to do a similar thing in this reactor. The catch is that each half of the ethane, basically each CH3, is going to have to rotate in a different direction. So I'm actually going to need these Waldos to be staggered. So let's get that queued up. And same old, brings it in, he grabs it, he spins it. Let's see, this is going to be the right hand side, so I want it to, yeah, I want it to spin counterclockwise. Did I say that word right? It sounded like I said counterclockwise, not counterclockwise. Now, put it down. Red doesn't have to do anything, so he just goes back up. Blue does the exact same thing, except he will be spinning it the other direction, clockwise. And then it can all bond successfully, be placed, and sent out. I believe. And pardon me as I take a drink while I wait. Speed 2, please, to speed up. Yeah, Red put his half down correctly, and Blue handled his half correctly. Perfect. So, even with patchwork reactors, we did what we needed to do. Sweet. I don't think I need to save either of these reactor designs. Admittedly, I'm only saying that because I have no idea what's coming up in the future levels. I could probably save this thing. I would be surprised if I don't ever have to put just 2 atoms together into a single 2-atom molecule, obviously. But the game remembers your solutions when you leave or finish a level, so if I ever do need this design, I can just come right back and grab it if need be. So, in the interest of saving time, because this is a kind of a long-range solution, speed 4. And even at speed 4, it took it a bit. Okay. I wonder what the faster way was. No idea. Okay, yep, continue. In our next level, nothing works. Well, that sounds promising. Okay, so we've got another methane pump, and we've got an atmospheric pump, which is sucking nitrogen out of Danopth's dense pure nitrogen atmosphere. And we have to make hydrogen gas and hydrogen cyanide. Highly toxic compound used in many industrial processes. Alright, same deal. We've got the broken down semi-operational reactors to work with. So let's figure out exactly what we need to do. We need all 4. Because the reactors that put things together only have 1 output. So we need 1 per cargo freighter. And, well, obviously likewise, the disassemblers can only accept 1 thing, so 1 for each. Alrighty. Now we only need to use 1 output of this fella. That's to shuttle the nitrogen up to the hydrogen cyanide reactor. This is the guy that has to split things. So, okay. Just looking at this level overall, I think the biggest obstacle is going to be the methane. Because we only want 1 hydrogen and the carbon to go up to the hydrogen cyanide reactor. Now, that's not completely a problem, because that means we know where the other 3 hydrogens have to go, which is down to the hydrogen gas reactor. The catch is that it might require some complicated logic to get all 3 hydrogen to leave on the same square, if that makes sense. So, well, first off, let me put together the notes really quick. We want the methane radical to go... nope, that's the upper note. Yeah, we want methane radical to go up to the hydrogen cyanide. We want hydrogen atoms to come out the other end to go to hydrogen gas. I don't think we need to make a note for this one. It's pretty straightforward. It's just going to emit nitrogen atoms. Okay, so how do I want to handle this guy? I could make a shape like this and like move the methane so that the carbon's here, sever all 3 bonds at once, and then pull the carbon-hydrogen pair away. But then blue's going to have a lot of running back and forth to move the hydrogen back. And likewise, it's going to be a really long and awkward trip for red to come all the way back down from psi, grab probably just one of the 3 hydrogen atoms and pull it over here to omega. Ooh, you're being sneaky, aren't you? Can I do like a rotating sort of deal? Like have 2 bonders here and then rotate the methane radical, or not the methane radical, the methane molecule, like continuously spin it and slowly cut the hydrogen, the 3 extra hydrogen off one at a time. But I don't know of a way of doing that without trapping red in a little loop. Oh, wait. Idea. I have an idea. What if we make this shape, and just stay with me here for a moment. Yeah, as usual, red does all the normal starting things. Now, the Waldos move at a synchronized speed. And I think what will happen is I'm doing something that I don't know if I've done before. So, you know what I'm going to do is a really quick test just to see what happens. So, really quick, what I hope will happen is that the same instant red cuts the bond of this hydrogen, the output command blue hits will make it vanish immediately, so that red then doesn't crash into it as he tries to go forward. And yes, it works. Okay, cool. So now what I can do is just time it, basically having blue again mimic red. And what this should do is remove all 3 excess hydrogen atoms from the methane without having to, like, stop or have one Waldo run back and forth and collect things. Yeah, I'm actually really... Oh, that is not a blue arrow like I thought it would be. I'm actually really happy with this idea. Oh, if this works like I'm hoping it does. Please work like I'm hoping you do. And boop, boop, and sweet. Oh, that is so awesome. Alright. Alright. Enough smiling. Quick mid-recording time test. 26 minutes already? Holy crap, I spent a lot of time yakking. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. This guy's pretty straightforward. I just, again, do something I'm pretty sure I did in the tutorial. Actually, I'd like you to grab onto the right-hand side of the molecule. Yeah. So then, what should happen is 3, cuts the 3 to 2, cuts the 2 to 1, cuts the 1 to 0. So the nitrogen, the second nitrogen will be left over there. And actually, let me just make a note really quick just so I can quickly remember how the nitrogen atoms are going to appear in the other reactor. And pardon me as I snort a little bit. Alright, and this guy should work. 2, 1. Oop. Okay, so blue, you're gonna have to back up a tad. I think that's a little... yeah, it's further than it needs to be, but it works. Okay. Alright, so with this reactor I can kind of do what I was doing in the nitrogen gas reactor, but in reverse. Maybe this video won't be too long. Okay, let's let this red do a pretty quick job. Let's just have him drop the nitrogen into its position, and then turn blue on. Come back and wait. Blue, you go around, you call in methane radical, grab it. It's going to have to be spun so that... actually it doesn't need to be. There's enough space. And then 1, 2, 3 bonds. And that should make hydrogen cyanide. I think. Let's see if it works. I feel like I went pretty fast through these 2 reactors, but at the same time I'm also really sure that I actually... oh! And that's why you always test first, before you just go ahead and hit speed 4. I need to basically some sinks down just to get blue to actually wait for the nitrogen to get into place. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it feels like I kind of really rapid fired through these reactor designs, but alright, so that guy works. But they seem pretty straightforward. There's nothing really fancy to either one. It's just either making 3 bonds all in a row or destroying 3 bonds all in a row. And like I said, I'm also really sure I made designs like these back in the tutorial stages, so it doesn't feel like something I really need to cover. And actually, this is exactly a point where I would want to copy an old reactor design, so let's go and do that really quick. Let's back up to this level. Let's save this guy. Oh, what do we want to name him? How about 2 atom... Okay. Oh, there's a character limit. Let's just call it the 2 atom. Okay. And then we just go back in here, delete this reactor, go down here to where our save designs are, drag the design out, and then I double click. You can see that it's the exact same design from the other level. So, with all of this, solution should run to finish. So let's see. Actually, let's hit speed 2 just to make things run just a teeny bit faster. And yep, this guy's making hydrogen, that guy's making the hydrogen cyanide. It's chugging along at a pretty nice rate. The nitrogen seems to be backing up though, which is a little worrying. Is that going to be an issue? Yep. Oh. And that's also going to be an issue. Okay. Okay, so what basically happened right there is this tube backed up so much that blue couldn't release the hydrogen atom. But because red just kept going, he brought what was left of the methane back around and banged into the hydrogen that couldn't fit in the tube, the pipe. So, I think it can be fixed by just adding a bunch of sinks. It's gonna look just a little more cluttered, but basically I believe if I do this, sorry for whistling on the S, I heard myself do that in a couple other recordings, so consider this a big apology for all of those other times. I think if I do this, what will happen is red will move forward and wait for blue to confirm that the hydrogen left before they both continue on. I think. I hope. And it's working a-okay. Hydrogen is just about to hit the backup point. And nope. Okay, so it waits between the second and the third hydrogen, but it doesn't wait between the first and the second. Okay. We are at 34 minutes. Quick and dirty fix would probably be to do this. move the sink down here just so that red moves in a direction that is definitely not going to be blocked by a loose hydrogen atom. It's not quite as elegant as it first looked, at least to me, but this should fix the problem again. And this isn't really that frustrating, because this is something I really like about the game, is... Why did you break right now? What happened? Oh, now blue's moving forward too quickly. Okay. Okay, so that solution doesn't work. What was I saying? I keep getting distracted by something. Right. Sorry, I just snapped my fingers. This is something that isn't particularly frustrating about this game, at least for me, and in small cases like this, because it's troubleshooting. It's kind of figuring out what your solution is doing wrong and trying to tweak that and fix that, and I kind of enjoy that, to be honest. So actually, no, the problem can be fixed by just, I think, yeah, giving blue 2 extra spaces to match red's 2 extra spaces will fix the problem that just happened, right? Looks like it, yeah. Sweet. Okay. Please work, because I really want to end this video soon, so please run to completion. And... nope. Now you're breaking. Okay, so it looked like what happens is... red couldn't push his nitrogen out, and blue ran into it. So the solution to every issue, apparently, is more sync commands. So let's tell blue to wait on this spot for red to confirm that he outputted his nitrogen atom. And this should keep blue from crashing into red. And I very quickly noticed, it was kind of hard to see because it was running at speed 3, but I quickly noticed that when blue's waiting, red is actually waiting over here for blue to hit this sync command. So red will never crash into blue just by how I had the solution set up already. So I believe with this fix, now blue can't crash into red. Please work. Alright, seems to be going okay. Sure. Another possible fix would be to make the hydrogen gas reactor and the hydrogen cyanide reactors run faster. But I'm not 100% sure how I could make them run any faster than they already are. I might figure something out off camera while I'm reviewing this video, but I don't readily see a way. And because things have now slowed to crawl, let's go ahead and hit speed 4. Okay. Level finished. And as you can see, we have 2 more. We have another production level, which is optional. You don't actually have to do this level. And typically, these optional challenge levels are a little bit more difficult. But I'm going to be doing it because I want to play through all the levels. And it shouldn't be that hard. Now, this other level, if the video isn't too pixelated, the game is calling a defense level, and you'll notice that its picture looks just a bit different from the production icons. And what that level is going to have to wait until the next video. So, with all of that, we finished our first 2 production levels, one of which proved to be quite a bit more finicky than the other. But, regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed, I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. I will, I suddenly got the feeling that there is something else I wanted to make mention of. But I don't... It was like just a sudden... Huh. Well, whatever it was gone as quickly as it came, so... Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next episode, and farewell for now.